Oh my God, I did it.
Hi, I'm Mike from the Cosmic Clash, and we're here with Kevin from Meanswell. Hi, Kevin.
That's right. What's up?
And he plays with a band out of Austin, a indie rock band, right?
That's right.
And his members have been collaborating together for a long time, actually. Can you tell me a little bit about the members that are not present today?
Yeah. Well, so the other three members of Meanswell are Matthew Boussard, who sings and plays rhythm guitar. Andrew Simmons sings and plays bass, and then John Den plays all of our drums for us. We've been working on Meanswell for the better part of a year now, but before that we were a group called the Gents, which had several different iterations, but the four of us played for, I want to say, the last 3 years together on that before transitioning. So we're really familiar with each other.
Familiar with each other. You guys have like a cohesiveness with your music and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was a big part of the transition going from the Gents to Meanswell, was that we'd all been playing together long enough that not only were we interested in exploring some new musical styles, but we were confident that we could pull it off. You know, like because not every group can just say like, oh well, now we're going to be a rock band.
We're just going to change.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Doesn't work for everyone because we've tried it. But it worked out for us.
You guys, have like
we are
one thing. So who of all the members that you've been with, who's been the one that you've been collaborating with the longest?
I've definitely collaborated with Matty B the longest. He and I grew up in Virginia together several years ago. Kind of lost touch for a few years there when we went to separate colleges, and it turned out that we both had our sights set on Austin after we finished school. And I ended up out here with a band, and then about 6 months later, I ran into him during South by Southwest, as luck would have it, like right there in downtown. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to move to Austin. I want to start a band. And I was like, no way.
There you go.
Cool. All right.
So
well,
like
sweet.
That friendship just
and
kind of
was, and we just picked right back up where we left off. And we spent several years kind of honing our skills, trying to write together, kind of culminating with where we're at now.
What led from, I guess, the transition from the music that you were playing, with the Gents to Meanswell? What was, I guess, the biggest thing that helped you guys move along?
In our last recording session as the Gents, we were recording at a place not far from here called the Thunder House. And we were working on 4 songs that we'd just been drilling, for months to get ready to go and record. And we all we finished that session and we were sitting down. We'd already thrown out the idea that we needed to change our name. That was a big catalyst. And then I think we all just kind of had that realization where we may not have talked about it a whole lot leading up to that point, but we were all the songs were starting to take on a new life, a new direction. There was a lot more rock and roll.
It was time for that change.
And we were encouraging Matty to change from playing an acoustic guitar, which was so indicative of the sound that we were doing, was kind of the mix of electric guitar versus acoustic guitar. We were really encouraging him to try picking up the electric so that we could have, that other instrument in the mix. And so when we started doing that, running those songs, some of the Gent songs, it didn't work anymore. It didn't sound right. And I had these songs that we'd kind of been workshopping for a little while, and it was like, well, maybe this is our opportunity to really take a definitive step forward towards this new project, and that's kind of when it all just happened.
Okay, listening to the 2 songs that you have on Bandcamp, you have the song Meanswell,
that's
and
right.
then you have the other one that is like more driven.
Right, yeah, it's called Open Season, yeah.
Yeah, there's the 2 totally different dynamics inside the band. Are we expected to see a little bit more?
I would like to explore kind of both of those types of music. I mean, Open Season, you can probably tell, I was listening to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age.
it was really like 3 minutes. I was like, that was intense.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward rock and roll. Meanswell, I think, is kind of where we hit our stride. It takes what I consider to be the best elements of what we worked on in the Gents for several years, and kind of sheds a new light on it.
It's a great song.
Thank you. Yeah, we love playing it for people. But yeah, that was kind of when I think when we realized, like, okay, well, we can do this kind of straightforward rock-driven thing, but the ability to arrange backing harmonies and have a lyrical lyrical melody in the song.
You guys are really good. I mean, I've listened to the Gents before. They're really, really good. But for the harmonies to transcend it into this band and adding that more rock and roll style,
right,
does bring it up to a different type of level.
So that's what I think we discovered that we were capable of doing in recording those singles in our first session, and that's kind of where we want to continue to forge on. We've got a couple songs that we're working on right now that I'm using. Listen to a lot of like Sam Cooke and Fats Domino and stuff like that to kind of try to evoke that sort of
rock and
that
roll
50s, 60s, rock and roll feel, but with like high gain guitars and backing vocals, because a lot of those recordings are pretty basic, and they sound awesome. I love that the chord progressions are familiar even if you haven't heard the song before, and I love that the lyrics are typically, they're very honest and heartfelt, but they find a hook that everyone can sing along to.
It was the genesis of
and
that rock and roll.
So that's kind of what we want to try doing is find that sort of formula that's a hybrid of what we like to play and what is clearly like a tested formula. It works. We still listen to these songs now, and it's been 60 years. So I want to continue to kind of explore that direction.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I was going to ask you about, I guess, future recordings. What do we expect to hear from Meanswell as a collective album or an EP that might be coming up? Are you guys working on something like that?
So we have one more single from our first recording session that we'd like to release before the end of this year. It's called Macedonia Boulevard. We've got a couple shows left in this year, so we'll definitely push that. Then the idea is to we have several more songs in our set that we didn't get to record in our first session. So the idea would be to get all those on tape, have enough material to kind of pick and choose the ones that we think provide the strongest through line for a full length, and then push 8 to 10 songs out on a full length album. I'd like to get that done by next summer, honestly. We didn't do any touring this year because we were kind of going through this rebuilding phase.
Full transition from the Gents
and and it was entirely necessary. I think if we tried to fit anything else into this time frame, we all would have gotten burned out pretty quickly. So I think that once we all kind of reconvene after the holidays, the goal will be to get those songs on tape. We've got some new ones that we want to workshop, get on the record. And then we'll have our product that we can now start pushing on the market. That's the idea.
So you guys playing any shows coming up?
Yeah, we're doing a couple. We've got one at Hotel Vegas on November 8th.
Oh, cool. That is like soon.
It is soon, yeah. We also have one actually next weekend at Independence Brewery for their 13th anniversary party, which is going to be sweet. Yeah, because that's with Think No Think and Otis the Destroyer and Emily Wolf. So that was a bill that they pitched at me, and I was like, we have to do it. Like,
you
love those bands.
Yeah, especially
like,
with the new
great
transition,
bands.
you guys would totally fit in with that.
So we're gonna open for all those guys, and then in December we have one more show at Stubbs Indoors with the Cover Letter. Which we used to do a bunch of shows with them as the Gents, and they approached us a few weeks back to see if we'd be interested, and at first I was a little hesitant. I actually just wanted to make sure that they knew we were kind of doing something different now. I'm like, hey, it's a little bit more rock and roll, and they said, you know what, we're actually trying to do the same thing, so it'd be perfect. I was like, all right, great. I'm like, sign us up. So we'll do that, and then that'll round out our 2017, which is nuts to think about.
And then you start the whole new year.
Start it all over again.
Running.
Right. We put in our application for South by, hoping that we get to do that.
You might get something. I think it's early enough.
We started working
with South by.
We started working with Penny Low for PR this year.
So yeah.
And so
they're really good.
Rob and Sharna have helped us immensely kind of prepare for the things that we should have to
for
do
next
these sorts of-
year.
for next
because
year.
beginning of the year before festival season,
Exactly.
South by Southwest, and
Get all the big
summer.
ones.
Yeah, everything that's coming up in the spring.
Right.
I did have a question.
Yes.
About Meanswell. Where did
Uh-huh.
you guys get that name? Because I know you guys have the title track of that
That's
song,
right.
Meanswell. Where does that come from?
Well, so when we were sitting around after our recording session at the Thunder House, we were trying to come up with a name, and we had initially thought of Allswell, kind of like all's well that ends well. And we looked it up, and I can't remember if someone already had the name or if we talked ourselves out of it or something. But then I was kind of like, what about Meanswell? Like that song that I've been kind of working on. I pitched this idea at them, and we hadn't really worked on it yet. So so they decided, okay, well, what does it mean? What is Meanswell? And to me, it was kind of an ironic thing. I was going through like a pretty stressful period of my life, and I was learning that hard lesson where it's like not enough to only mean well.
Yeah, is that the whole song? With their whole, those lyrics are pretty deep.
They're very and they're honest. That was a very real situation for me.
Correct. That's a good
so it was kind of one of those realizations in my life. It was a growing point where it's like it's not enough to just mean well. You really do. You have to put the effort in because the people who you surround yourself with. At least for me, in my experience, the people that I've surrounded myself with, I can't bear to treat them poorly.
Oh no, of course, you're a good person.
So that's where that, and I was having a bad time. I was having a lot of trouble, and so I kind of penned that with the idea that not only would it be, a heartfelt kind of, I don't know, grin and bear it sort of song, but it was. What's the word French use? Toothless. Yeah, toothless. I think is what he called it. But yeah, it's as much an ironic title as it is a reminder for me. Every time we do that song, it's always like the best material comes from the stuff that actually
means a lot, or just happens. Or just happens in that moment.
And so that's what Meanswell is to me. Is you have to, just like we spend a lot of time in here working on songs together, and you have to be comfortable being vulnerable in front of people that you may otherwise not feel like opening up to, and so that's what Meanswell means.
Cool. That is very heartfelt, actually, because I was listening to that song, and I'm like, I have to ask them what the heck.
Yeah,
where is that coming from?
Every time we play that song, that's a hard one for me.
No, you can tell it,
like,
especially through that recording. The lyrics are great, the song is great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave that one to Frenchie when we went to the Bubble to do those singles, and he was like, he made me sing it like 5 times before we even hit record, because he was just like, you're gonna have to sound like you're working through this, and I think he achieved that, I think when I finally got the mixes back and we listened to them, and I got over, the first few times where you're like, I hate my voice, I don't want to hear myself. Once I got over that, I was like, yeah, it really does. Like, it's pained. It was a very painful.
Bringing up I guess the feeling, the artwork that's inside you into real life. How is it collaborating with Frenchie?
I think it's fantastic. It was the first time that I think I'd worked with someone whose goal was to be more than just a successful engineer for the session. He came in and he sat down with me and Maddie, and he talked to us about what we wanted to do as far as our guitar work and things like that. Where in the past we've worked with some incredible engineers, very skilled musicians, but they kind of always assumed that whatever we brought to the table was what they were going to put on the recording. And while I can appreciate that mindset, it was really nice to have someone who was willing to take the extra time to kind of pull it out of us.
They have that style.
And talk to us. And when it wasn't working, he said, drop it. Go outside.
Take
drink a
some
beer,
time, come back,
have a cigarette. Like,
later.
you're not doing anything with it now. Come back in and let's really, let's try pulling those teeth again. And it was cool.
To get that emotion.
Yeah, because like I said, I think in Meanswell as well as Open Season and this other single that we've got, La Sidonia Boulevard, I think that you can hear the emotion because it's, it was there. We were all in the room, definitely feeling it at the time. So
it's cool. I can't wait to hear more of you guys get a full album.
Oh man,
that's my favorite.
I can't wait
thing
to
do,
give it to you,
from
dude.
beginning to end, just to listen, to this artwork that
Yeah.
you guys produce. And you guys are really awesome musicians.
Thank you.
From seeing you different jams to even now, just hearing those 2 tracks on there. I want to hear more. I'm like, all right, this is way different.
It is. It's very different.
Give it to me.
But I think that it has legs on it that we can appeal to a lot of people with this.
Oh, I
kind of
believe
sound.
so. Even with with whatever you did in the past to now, I think it is very appealing to a lot of people because I know they have like a following out there that.
Yeah. Well,
You guys have
we
fans.
definitely
You guys have
we
people,
pulled a
so.
Yui on some folks for sure. Some people were like, why would you do that? And it was kind of like
You did the Bob Dylan thing.
Well, you just gotta sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah,
that's what it
fine.
is. So
and that's
we-
perfectly
so we
fine.
went
You guys
for
are doing. It sounds like you guys are doing great, and I haven't caught them live yet, but I will catch you guys live. And,
Yes,
I mean,
it would be great.
It would be great. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have any more other questions for you, and I miss the other guys.
Yeah, I know.
But you did a great job.
Thank you. You did a great job too.
No, likewise. Thank you. Well, Mike from the Cosmic Clash, and this has been one of my wacky interviews here with Kevin from Meanswell. Thank you, and we'll be catching you guys later.